This is Soundside. I'm Libby Dankman. Seattle may have to say goodbye to a long-standing vintage shop in the new year. Red Light Vintage and Costume sits in the heart of the University District. It has been a fixture in Seattle's fashion scene since it opened in the mid-90s. Step onto the shop's black and white checkered floors, and you're ushered into a funky, bold, and eclectic world. And if you've never been, you might still recognize the store from its cameo in Macklemore's music video for Thrift Shop. Tacee Webb opened the store with her husband at the time back in 1996.
The Red Light was always just kind of fussy, moody, edgy punk, wild, as kind of a train wreck sometimes too. And it was just really fun and wild. It was never perfectly straightened or cleaned.
She ran Red Light for a few years before selling it in '99. The steady hand at the helm since then has been Niz Marar. Now, though, the shop could close because Marar is retiring.
It's really time, and I have not, had the energy that I used to when I was younger, and motivation. I had the option to renew for another 5 years, but by then I'll be in my 70s. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so. So, I'll just let somebody else have a chance.
He's hoping to sell the business before his lease expires at the end of January. If he can't find a buyer, fashion lovers will have to let go of this cherished spot.
I'm a bit anxious because sort of putting my faith in, somebody else performing, like coming through with some cash. And if they don't, I've got to figure out how to get rid of everything in the store. So that's going to be a challenge.
If you've walked through the doors at Red Light, you get what he means, because there's a lot. I've been shopping at Red Light since I was a teenager. When we visited recently, the back section was packed with costumes, sailor outfits, wigs, fairy wings, delicate vintage dresses hung from the ceiling. All kinds of accessories, everything from jewelry to hats, were scattered around the place. So clearing out would be quite the undertaking, but Marar has done it before when he closed down his other Red Light location on Capitol Hill a decade ago. And he says that one was 3 times the size of the U District location. As for keeping the business going, that would be a huge win for vintage aficionados and nostalgic Seattleites who shared their shock and sadness about the news on social media. Because, as is often the case with a long-standing business, Red Light is way more than the clothes it sells.
There's so many stories you hear from people. Oh, I used to shop there, when I was in college. Now my daughter shops there, or my daughter loves your store. And of course we've had people coming here for decades. And we even have one person who sells clothing to us who has been coming for about 30 years.
That sense of community could continue if Red Light finds new ownership. And actually, there's a possibility it could do that by reverting back to old ownership. Tacee Webb, the store's original founder, is trying to raise money to take over the shop.
I have so many close friends in Seattle that were people that worked at the Red Light back in the day, customers, dealers, people that sold to us. And they're just like jumping up and down for joy, and they're so excited. So it feels like a really fun, Red Light revival.
She says she's working on getting a bank loan to buy the business. Since that could take a while to sort out, and Red Light's lease expires next month, she has launched a Kickstarter campaign to raise money in the meantime. If she can pull it off, Webb wants to bring her daughter in as a partner in the business. As for the vibe, she says things wouldn't look too different from the Red Light vintage and costume of today.
Going back in and looking at, my old neon signs that I hung myself, I remember being up on that rickety ladder and making those, hand-making the racks that are still there. Much of it is very much the same. And I'm not a big fan of changing things. I want to add some events and promotions and memberships. But the overall look and feel will be very much, what it is now.
There are still a lot of unknowns when it comes to the future of Red Light. For Niz Marar, though, who has just a couple weeks left with the store, it's been a time to think about what the past couple decades there have meant for him.
In the early days, I used to drive by the store and, feel proud and not believe that I even actually owned it. It was hard to believe. But now it's like, just what I value more than anything is my relationships with my staff and managers and stuff. And so it's like just feels good to know that you've looked after people, and that's what I'm most proud of.
You're listening to Soundside. I'm Libby Dankman, and Maliha Syed produced this story. Thanks for listening to Soundside. Don't forget you can listen live on KUOW 94.9 Seattle at noon and 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, or anytime right here online at KUOW.org, or of course on your favorite podcast app.